Come on, James. Blow it up.
Make some noise, boys. Let's get behind James. He's going to get this love. Let's go, James.
Okay, this past weekend in Georgetown, Texas, a suburb of Austin, James Strickland bench press 612 at 274, and this is raw. This is a USPA national record. He actually got up 622, but was called for lifting his butt up. It was a very close call, but I say this: the USPA Texas is very strict, but it's very fair. They don't seem to ever like pick people and show favoritism. So I really like that. I mean, we can't complain. We just gotta get better. So that's cool. So he got up 612, and I want to share with you. So if you've been following James at all, you know, the past, you know, I started working with him 6 months ago. Prior to that, he'd been benching anywhere from the mid fives up to, you know, into the 580s, and he's kind of stuck there. So now that he's benched over, he's in a, you know, in the 275s, and before that he'd be in a higher weight class a lot of times. Now that he's bench pressed 633, weighing 290 a few weeks ago, then he just hit this 612 at 274. I want to share with you some of the tips that have helped James increase his bench press so quickly, and also keep this in mind. It's such a high level, you know, so these tips really work because the stronger you get, the harder it's going to be to increase. So as I say, some of these are to help you. So use what's useful, discard the rest, and here we go. So the first thing is focus. Okay, so what I mean by that, so James, he's a naturally truculent dude, very aggressive. So he's the kind of guy, I think, in my opinion, would be if he wasn't a God-fearing family man, he'd be going into Irish bars and yelling St. Patrick's in English, I mean, just for kicks, and he'd look forward to what was going to, you know, happen from that. So this naturally aggressive attitude, though, did get him into a little bit of trouble. He'd get in these sideshow, sort of crypto circus events with people on social media that want to challenge him to do something totally bizarre that had no, you know, good effect on his training, and he'd do it just to, you know, be part of this charade. So anyways, he's no longer doing that. If you want to tango with James, it's going to be on the platform. It's not going to be, you know, at these sort of side events. So he's done that he's fully immersed himself in the zone. So what do I mean by the zone? He's 100% focused at the present, because if you're focused on your social media likes, followers, this or that, you're no longer focused on the present moment. And James has learned to do that. He's aligned himself with his highest self and just lets the power of intention take over. And he's taken it to the next level. He's like a Zen master, focused on the task at hand. Number 2, he dips more. So he gets out to Copenhagen, puts a bit. No, I'm just kidding. He does heavy dips. So let me give you an example. By dipping more, he's gone from initially he was doing 145, you know, for sets of like 5 or 6 and having a bit of a struggle. Now he can do 250 for 2 sets of 5, and that's an RP 8 to 9, meaning he has anywhere from, you know, 1 to 3 reps in the tank at the end of the set. So dips, there's all sorts of reasons. Assuming you're healthy enough to do them, you know, even an MRI study by Paritesh in that book Target Bodybuilding shows like it really you know, worked all 3 heads of the triceps to the extreme. It was the only like real big compound movement that did that. But besides that, I mean, we're more about, you know, anecdotal evidence here. So, you know, Pat Casey to Jeremy Hornstra, dips have played a major role in the success of their bench press. Even our jailhouse lifters like Craig Munson, Tukey Williams, Jim Williams, all those guys that built big, strong, powerful physiques had dips as part of their program. So by James increasing his dip strength, his bench press strength went along with it. Okay. James trained pause reps. Okay, so the first time I ever saw James was in 2015. It was July, and he hit somewhere in the mid 5s at the meet. But I was watching him warm up, and I've trained a ton of 600-pound bench pressers, as many of you know. And you know, the way he was moving, he did 495 for 2 reps, which I would never recommend doing reps when you get that high up. But anyways, he did. It was like ba-ba! Just speed reps. I mean, the acceleration that barbell had on it was scary. But here's the thing. When he got to the pause reps, he opened to like 525 or something. And it looked slower than molasses on a cold winter day. So basically, by not training the pause reps, he was violating the principle of specificity. So he didn't, and he also had really, he had great muscle elasticity. So if you had to bounce the rep or touch and go it, it's going to look awesome. But when it came to like that starting strength, he was lacking it. So by training pause reps, that helped increase his bench press too. Okay. Next one is he increased his upper back training volume and frequency. So before, he might do some deadlifts, a couple of lat pull downs here and there, and maybe a set of bent over rows. But he was more, training just the front side of his body, not the back side so much. So anecdotally, your upper back can handle a hell of a lot. I've pushed this with myself, with other people, and it's amazing. It can take a licking and keep on ticking, more so than a lot of other muscle groups. But keep in mind, the lower back's sort of the opposite. That's the slowest to recover. So the way you can increase your upper back frequency, what I'm talking about here, is if you're gonna do rows, make them chest supported. So you do like seal rows, chest supported T-bar rows, lat pull downs, pull-ups, things like that don't just tax your lower back. And we would do minimally 25 sets of upper back workout a week, primarily focus on one day. Then at least, he trains 4 days a week. He'd hit an upper back at least one time in each of those days subsequently. Okay, finally, off-season training. So before we did this, James didn't really do any sort of, off-season, if you will. So you go back in the day, you had Ed Cohn, Bill Casper, all these people would do periods of bodybuilding, not straight up bodybuilding, but more reps and stuff. So I was sort of, I was motivated by my conversations with Ed Cohn. He kind of influenced me, or majorly influenced me to come up with the concept of power building, or book Metroflex Gym Power Building Basics. So what that was is, the advantage of it is I'll give you an example. I remember Benny Magnuson. I was there when he hit this 10-15 deadlift. I was standing 5 feet away from it. And I remember after he was talking about how the Americans are always like going heavy and always trying to peak and never back off. So the off season is going to obviously, when you're doing the higher volume, shorter rest breaks, all that stuff, your CNS will break. It also gives you a chance to work out any weak points, because that's the issue you're going to have. And this will be a whole other conversation at a time. If obviously to get better at the bench press, squat, deadlift, you have to do those lifts. That's the principle of specificity, so it's not even worth the debate or answering. But if that's all you ever do, and you have some sort of compensatory movement pattern, if you don't correct it by correcting these structural imbalances, guess what? It's only going to become a worse compensatory movement pattern. So these 5 tips right here help James take himself to the next level, and I hope this is enjoyable. I can do these in one take. I'm pressed for time today, so all these are in one take, as a matter of fact. But here's to a big bench press. All right, thanks.